How on earth is anyone supposed to find a job in a market like this one? That's a question that I've heard asked, sometimes with a tinge of despair, a lot of times in the past few months. And usually it's accompanied by a few ideas about what's making job searches so difficult right now. I hear things like resumes are only ever seen by an ATS, and you have to pay to show up in searches, or pay someone to maximize your resume to meet the AI code, or the old "it's not who what you know, it's who you know." No one's hiring anyone as young or old as me. In my case, young, obviously. Hiring managers have biases and they're racist or sexist or homophobic. How do I get experience when no one will give me experience? I click on it to apply on everything and I never get a response. Or job postings are also vague, unclear titles, $100,000 salary ranges if they're listed at all. And how am I supposed to present myself as positive when I keep getting knocked down? It's hard to be out there looking for a job right now. And I am by no means an expert on job searches. Uh, but there are a few things that are universal, even in today's environment. The first one I would say is don't write your resume for a machine, write it for a person. I've seen so many resumes come across my desk that are just AI generated garbage. They've got fancy designs and graphics and pictures. Let me ask, do you read every word of a really long email? Of course not. You look for the relevant information and you're grateful when someone tells you up front what you need without a mountain of fluff to wade through. Don't do that on your resume. Your resume should outline really succinctly what you've done, what you're good at, with some evidence and numbers to back it up. And for the ATS part, just have a short accomplishments section with maybe 4 bullets at most. And you customize that for the job by pulling key relevant items from your work history section and then reword those so that they match the way that they're phrased in the job description for what you're applying to. The second big thing I'd say is don't spam your resume to every recruiter and job posting. You just become part of the background noise, even if they do have something that would be good for you. You don't need 200 applications, you just need one job. Look, LinkedIn and job posting sites, those are not the place that you hunt for a job. They're the place that are a guidebook for you to show who's looking and what they're looking for. Some of those badly written job postings out there actually help you. When you can identify the companies that you want to apply to, find a person. Who are you connected to? Who's the hiring manager? Who leads the department that you're applying for? Reach out to those individuals, not to beg for a job, but to ask for a short call, to ask questions about the role based on that job description, or to briefly explain how your experience might be a fit and ask if you can speak to them to see if that might work and if your skills could help them. It's sort of a backdoor interview. Just say, hey, I'd love to ask you a couple of questions about this role before I apply. Be part of the conversation. Be relevant. This is another place where LinkedIn can be really, really good. Join groups, make comments. I'm not talking about the social Saturday type of silliness or some of the political nonsense that gets posted. That stuff has its place, Facebook. But you're trying to get hired. Knowing what the people in your industry and target companies are talking about is valuable to you. And being a voice that can make a meaningful contribution to the big conversations in your field, that makes you valuable to those companies. You've got something to say that's relevant, not something about your last job or about your last career or what you learned in school, but you're talking about the same things they're talking about right now. The other thing I'd say is jump on opportunity. Don't wait by the phone or the inbox for someone to contact you. When I finished grad school, the job that I'd initially planned fell through at the last minute while I was loading a moving truck, actually. I emailed every single person I knew, whether I thought they could help or not, just to say, hey, look, I'm looking. And a friend of mine I hadn't spoken to in years had just finished his administrator and training program at Ensign. He called me, told me they weren't hiring new AITs for another 5 months, but their annual company offsite meeting was over the next 3 days in California. I hopped on a plane 8 hours later and I crashed their meeting with him, slept in his hotel room. It ended up turning into a 3-day job interview and then a job and then a career in healthcare. Jump on it. Get out there and meet people. Don't just wait to be asked. A couple other things. Give with no expectation in return. It's not about who you know, it's about who knows you. Join industry groups. Get involved with advocacy for causes that you believe in. Join networking groups for job search and meet some people. Even if it's not particularly helpful to you, you might be helpful to them. All of those things aren't directly helping you find a job necessarily, but be willing to connect other people to each other or to jobs that you hear about, especially if you think that they can't help you in any way. Be willing to go and speak and write as an expert when you're asked. Virtually every job or consulting engagement that I have ever had has come as a result of someone knowing me or knowing about me. It may have just been because they worked with me at some point in the past, or maybe they heard one of these silly videos, or they know someone that I helped get a job at where they work, or someone that they know just a friend, or even it's just knowing my reputation. But you got to build that reputation. You got to be visible in your community as many ways as possible, not just the occasional post on LinkedIn or asking for a job. Being known for doing good and having good professional insight is way better in the long term than having a cousin at the company's HR department. It helps you also having a sense of purpose and a positive outlook, even if your own job search is stalled. Also, know when to walk away and know when to run. Sorry, Kenny Rogers, I'd be glad I didn't try and sing that. Are there companies that you're applying to with big red flags? Sure. I've run into all kinds of problems. Bait and switch on the title or the salary that'll say it's this role and it's really not. Definitely seen that. CEOs or owners that have obvious biases or nepotism, plenty of times. Even some shady business practices that might come out in the job interview. When you see those things, run as fast as you can. Don't waste your time. You don't want to work there anyway. Don't waste your time on companies that don't share your values. You might really need the paycheck, but your mental health and your reputation that will get you more jobs in the future are far more valuable to you. Not every job has to be a perfect fit. It doesn't have to be a dream job, but you shouldn't have to sacrifice your integrity for any job. The only career choices that I've made that I regret are not listening to the flags that should have made me run a mile, and I didn't when I should have. That is definitely something I would go back and change. Whether it's the company that wanted to hide things from the state, or one hiring manager who made so many homophobic and sexist comments during the interview, or the board president who just constantly didn't tell me the truth, kept rescheduling, not showing up to things. That was a guy that I knew I didn't want to work for, but I did. My own life would have been much happier if I trusted that instinct to run in all of those occasions and not given into the urgency of an immediate need to work. There will be another job. You don't have to take the one that's going to slowly kill you. Look, job searching can be exhausting, but just remember, your title or the company you work for does not define who you are. It doesn't give you worth. You do that through how you treat other people, how you learn and how you teach, and who you help. You're your own greatest asset and you're worth investing in. Good luck to everybody who's searching right now. And look, if I can connect you to anyone in my network, or introduce you to a company, or tell you about an industry, or give advice or help in any way at all, give me a call.